And you now join me on the Bartech stand here at SPE Offshore Europe 2019, and I'm with Charlie, who's got his hands on, well, I guess a large engine. But before we talk engines, just briefly talk us through exactly what Bartech do.
Bartech Marine Engineering, we've been in business for over 30 years now, and we deal with diesel engines, turbochargers, governors, basically anything that might be on a diesel engine. We repair, we supply, we overhaul, stuff like that. We deal mainly in a lot of the older type engines that are getting very hard to source parts for, you know. So we've got our own kind of machine shop back at our workshop, so we can manufacture parts as well. So we do basically, if it's involved with diesel engines, we do it.
Now, diesel engines are your thing, and it's no surprise to see you kind of hands-on a diesel engine right now, and you're about to kind of talk us through, well, one of the kind of services that you guys kind of provide when it comes to diagnostics, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, obviously customers phone us up and say, oh, we've got an issue with an engine, or we think we've got an issue with an engine. Can you come and have a look? So this would be what we'd call like a healthcare check, where we'd check the engine over to see, you know, what may or may not be going wrong with it. And one of the tools that we use is this, called a borescope. And basically, you take the injectors out of the engine, then you can put the camera down. It's like a endoscope you get, you know, for medical purposes, but obviously this is designed for industrial applications. So we can put the camera down the injector tube and basically have a look inside the engine. And then, so you see, so that's the top of the piston there. And then if you look there, that semicircular mark there, that's where the valves have actually been hitting the piston.
I was going to say, can you see any issues there? So
yeah, we can. Yeah. So the valve's been hitting the piston, and I know why that is, because this engine was rebuilt from an engine that had a broken crankshaft, and actually the crankshaft is over there on the bench there. And of course, because the crankshaft had snapped, that put all the timing out. So basically the piston was coming up as the valve was still open, so the valve was hitting the piston. And that would give you a fairly distinct kind of knocking noise from the top of the engine.
So you've got this kind of endoscope type bit of equipment down inside the engine now. You know, if I'm a customer, it's my engine. How are the benefits to me for you to come along and do this? Is this a kind of new bit of tech? Or?
It's not new. I mean, obviously this sort of camera, obviously they're getting better all the time with, you know, technology advancing and stuff. But these sort of cameras have been around for quite a few years. But the advantage of this is it's much easier just to take the injectors out rather than dismantle the whole engine. Because obviously dismantling the whole engine would take days, maybe even weeks if it's a big enough engine, whereas to get the injectors out, it's a few hours work. You put the camera down, you can have a look, see if there's any issues, like we've got a clear issue there with the marks on top of the piston, you know. But like I say, a lot of the time the customer will get in contact with us because they think they've got a problem, because they've heard something unusual, or it's using more oil than it should do, or it's, you know, smoking, or whatever the issue might be. So normally we're expecting to find something, but this is a much cheaper way of doing it rather than dismantling it, because you could dismantle it and find nothing wrong. You know, if the customer thinks he's got something wrong but there isn't anything wrong, whereas this is, like I say, it's a cheaper, more time-efficient way of finding out if there is something wrong, because normally you can spot it by doing this.
Well, Charlie, thank you very much. You heard it here then. It's a kind of cheaper, more cost-effective way to look at servicing a diesel engine. And he said diesels are their thing here at Bartech. You're watching OETV with ABB, and let's go there right now and check in with Kirsten.